The Apple Watch Sport Loop Band is one of the standard band options that you can get with an Apple Watch, even if you don't buy it directly from Apple. You can see my unboxing of my Series 10 Apple Watch on my channel if you're curious. And now at this point, I've worn this band for 6 months every day, wearing it casually every day from buying groceries to doing intense workout as a lap swimmer. So in this video, I'll be covering everything from the design to my personal experience as a swimmer, and also discussing whether it's worth that $49 price tag or maybe you're better off buying the knockoffs. Firstly, with the available color options out there, there's definitely quite a good variation of colors to choose from. The one I'm showcasing here is the ink color, and it's subtle enough to look fine in professional clothing in my opinion, so I think it's probably the most versatile color to pick from. The full disclosure, since I am filming, a lot of the footage is after using it after 6 months of swimming. It definitely has faded into this brown color from the chlorine. More on that a little bit later, but just know that it is still the ink band that I am reviewing here. It also does come in 3 different sizes. Make sure you get the right one appropriate for your size Apple Watch face. The mechanism is super simple. It is designed to fit pretty much any size wrist with its hook and loop enclosure, which is basically the non-patented version of saying Velcro, and it works super well. Since it doesn't completely open up, you have less of the risk of accidentally dropping your watch when you're trying to loosen it. The loop design prevents you from directly placing the charger underneath it, though I did find out recently that it can actually charge through the band. But even if you want to have direct contact with the watch, with the charger, it's just an additional step to do so. It's not a big deal. The opening and closing of the mechanism is super simple, and the process definitely takes less time than other band designs. Now, I did swim with it for 6 months, and even though it does absorb some moisture, it doesn't feel soggy at all, so I never felt the need to take off my watch to let it dry. It pretty much just dried pretty quickly on my wrist without me really thinking about it at all. Not to mention, it's super soft and comfortable to the touch. I wear my Apple Watch to sleep, and the band never got in the way. And unlike other sport-compatible bands like the silicone-type bands, it doesn't cause any skin irritation or redness, and it also doesn't really trap odors either. Now, specifically talking about my experience as a daily lap swimmer, 6 months later, unfortunately, there is the obvious discoloration from the ink black or deep gray to this brown color. But that's not really the biggest problem I have with it. It's the fact that it's stretched out a lot and also stretched out unevenly. Here are some comparison of the before when it was just brand new to now 6 months of daily swimming with it. You can see the distance from the end when it was brand new. There's still distance from that to the watch versus now where the end is really overlapping at this point, and I'm unable to get a secure fit having narrower wrists. So if you're somebody with thicker wrists, maybe this won't become an issue for you, even if it does stretch out so you have a little bit of headroom. But for me, unfortunately, this pretty much renders the band unusable. So then it begs the question, is it worth the $49 price tag, especially when there's quite a few knockoffs that are under $10 on, say, Amazon? Now, I personally have not tested those, maybe in a future video, but what I've noticed from looking at the product photos and also from reading user reviews is that the connection point is definitely a little bit more complicated than the seamless one on Apple's design. So it does allow for another point of failure, and then also the fabric material is definitely not as high quality as Apple's. So there's that to consider. But what I've noticed having owned the Apple Sport Loop is that I think the fabric, the design is very high quality. You can see even after repeated use of, unhooking, rehooking that area, even though there's quite a bit of fuzz, overall it hasn't lost its grippiness. I don't have any concerns of it slipping off. If I didn't have, of course, that fabric stretch problem that I have mentioned earlier, I think it is still a very well designed band. So to sum things up, really its only Achilles heel is it cannot be constantly submerged, so don't get this band if you want it to last long term as a swimmer. But for any other kind of dry land sports, just sweating in it, casual wear, I think this is a really nice, comfortable band to get, especially with its versatility of no in-between sizes, since you can lash it on pretty much anywhere. So that's been my experience having the Apple Watch Sport Loop Band. If you are interested in other Apple Watch content, check out my channel. Also have other Apple Watch related videos in the queue, like swimming with it and other Apple Watch bands, so definitely get subscribed if you aren't already.